is part 2 of Alpha Prince Deku X Omega Reader X Alpha Shoto Part 2. Sorry I didn't post last weekend. I was busy, of course, with Christmas. And I hope you guys like this one. And I'll be posting 2 times this week. So yeah, have fun! Shoto's POV. That scent. Who is it? Normally one can't smell a person's scent because it was common practice for girls to wear makeup. Yes, it does work wonders on complexion, but it hides a person's scent. As I followed the scent, I found a group of Omegas huddled together. Their clothes were very simple, or peasant clothing, my father would call it. I was surprised to see so many Omegas here. I was just told all the Omega villages declined the invitation. So why were they here? Though according to my teachers, most Omegas were quirkless, and those who didn't have very impressive ones. So there was no threat, I guess. Sadly, I lost the scent in the crowd or huddle of Omegas. There were so many scents to find that one in particular. Then I quickly snapped out of my trance. What was I doing? I told myself. I was looking for a mate, so I turned away from the Omegas and walked back into the crowd. Deku's POV. As I wandered through the crowd, or at least tried to anyways, betas and a few alphas constantly stopped me and flirted with me. And I'm not good at these things. And mostly happened was them talking to me made me blush, a blushing mess. As I looked around, I saw Kachan, surrounded by betas and alphas, trying to win his attention. Though it looked like Kachan wasn't too happy with all the unwanted attention, so I slowly tried to make my way over to them, but accidentally bumped into someone. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I stuttered as I helped the girl up. Just as I helped her to her feet, I got a strong whiff of a small and honey lavender. Looking over, the girl, she did stand out. Her clothes were pretty simple, and she was the only girl wearing a bonnet. Are you okay? I asked her. I looked closer at her features. She had beautiful eye-colored eyes and smooth skin-color skin. I'm fine, she said softly. Her voice was so kind and sweet. It made my heart pound in my chest. I have to go, she whispered as she started to back away from me. Oh, wait, I'm Prince Izuku, Midoriya. It's nice to meet you, miss, I said with a bow. I'm Ian. Nice to meet you, your highness, she said with a bow. I could feel my heart flutter as I slowly grabbed her hand. She flinched as she nervously looked at me. Would you like a tour of the castle gardens? I asked as I released a calming scent. Maybe a fast tour, she said with a nervous smile. I led her through the garden. As we walked through the garden, we talked about whatever came to our minds. I learned more about her home, her day-to-day chores, and her family. In return, I told her what city life was like. She came to a stop as she looked at almost a finished stage being set up. What's this? Yin asked as she got closer. It's a audition for 6 maidens to present themselves in front of the royal families, to show off their skills or quirks, to try and prove themselves worthy to being a part of the royal family, I explained. Actually, I was wondering what that dried lake behind the stage, she said with a giggle. I felt so embarrassed as all the heat went to my face. As I quickly covered my face with my hands, I hear her trying to hold back her laugh. I tried to compose myself to the best of my abilities. In the middle of the lake stood Well, once stood the moon goddess's statue, and she would be in the middle of this once beautiful lake. Normally during these meeting festivals, the performance would be held in front of her. Right here, in fact, because whenever we told the meeting hold the meeting festival, there was always a blue moon on the third night, and when that moonlight shined down on the gem she held, it would give off the most beautiful radiance, I explained as I remembered the lake. The statue would stand in a small patch of the land in the middle of the lake, on a small temple. But days went by, and the lake dried up, and the land in the middle of the lake gave away and collapsed. Thankfully, the monument was undamaged, but that led to another problem. If the lake were to be refilled, the monument would be underwater. Well, I'd love to see it, Yin said as the wind blew lightly on her bonnet. Sadly, the patch it stood on collapsed, so the monument isn't high enough to catch the earliest moonlight, and it's not the same as before when the lake was, well, still a lake. The moon would reflect on the water as the light shined and light up the sky, I explained. The sky cleared as the blue moonlight shined down, Yin. The moonlight kissing your skin, giving her a faint glow. Your Highness? She called. Oh, Izuku is fine, I corrected her. All right, Izuku. What of all the lovely ladies in the festival? Why me? A lowly Omega? Yin asked me nervously. You're not a lowly Omega. You're kind, caring, and sweet. I don't find many people who are like that, I said with a soft smile. She seemed to like this answer, as her cheeks turned slightly pink. Suddenly the clock tower struck 11 p.m. I think it was best for Yin to turn in for the night. I know some alcohol was being served an hour ago, so there will be a lot of drunken alphas doubling about. Let me escort you back to your quarters, I suggested as I nervously gave her my hand. Thank you, she said as she kindly took it. As we made our way back to the front of the castle, there were definitely a lot of drunk alphas. All other will make it seem have to retreat back to their private quarters, which is probably the best idea for them. It was quickly proven right when suddenly two alphas started fighting each other. Suddenly, I felt Ian's hold ripped off as I heard her cry for help. Sorry, it's really bad at this. I quickly turned to see Yin struggling against two drunken alphas. Izuku let out a low growl as it got to the attention to the two drunks. It was a good thing you're still sober enough to tell who it was from. They quickly let go of Yin and backed away from Prince Izuku. Are you all right? Let's hurry back to your quarters, Izuku said as he picked Yin up bridal style, quickly rushing through the crowd till they got to the gate. Thank you so much, Yin thanked, still trembling. No problem, Yin. Sleep well, and I hope to see you again, Izuku said with a blush on his face. He was cut off guard when Yin gave him a small peck on the cheek. As she quickly turned and entered the Omega-only section of the castle. Izuku stood there for a moment when suddenly he felt felt lighter than air, and his world somehow got even more bright and colorful than before. He was head over heels for this Omega, which he hoped to make his Omega. As Izuku left, he failed to notice a small group of noble betas when he had been watching him. They did not like what they had seen. What does the prince see in that peasant? One scoffed. Omegas always steal the attention from the alphas, another added. Calm down, Omegas. We have nothing on us. We have style and grace and impressive quirks to go with it. Most Omegas are quirkless. And what the flip? I'm sorry. And who are probably worthless, the head beta of the group said. All of them were definitely beautiful, file at heart. They all sat around the table as they took sips of their wine. But you saw how he helped that Omega. He frantic her, Charlotte. One of the betas said to the head beta, Charlotte, well, if he simply let a girl in his hands of a bunch of drunks, it would ruin his image, Charlotte said nonchalantly. Besides, Prince Midoriya doesn't scream alpha like Prince Shoto or Todoroki, so don't worry about Prince Midoriya, she continued. So you didn't see Prince Shoto? I saw him eyeing up the Omegas. What's so amazing, Omegas? They're the weakest of us and have nothing to offer, a different beta said as she slammed her glass down. Don't worry, we still have 2 days left. 2 days left to be chosen for the performance, Charlotte chuckled. Next day. It was a sunny afternoon as the festival continues. Now games and food tents have been set up, and our soft-spoken Omega Gin was shyly wondering about the festival. 3 of her friends followed by her side, when suddenly they were pulled into a scandaled area by 4 well-dressed betas. What do you want? One of Ian's friends whispered. Simply, stay out of our way. We saw you with Prince Midoriya. You listen here, Omega. What? That prince is yours, the beta said as she shoved Ian to the ground. You're so mean, the other friend said as she helped you up. Let's just keep to ourselves, Ian said as she dusted herself off. And so they did. They played games and ate all sorts of sweets, having a grand time. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew Ian's bonnet off her head and flew over the crowd, Ian quickly chasing after it. Shoto's POV. As I wandered about the festival trying to mind my own business, yet left and right betas and some alphas constantly came up to me to flirt or to try to gain my attention. I politely turned them away. As I made my way through the crowd, a bonnet flew right onto my face. I was hit with that same scent from last night, honey and lavender. I could feel the hairs on my arm and the back of my neck stand. Excuse me, Your Highness, a soft voice called. I turned to see a young maiden with long hair-colored hair, or short, your hair, beautiful eye-colored eyes, and smooth skin-colored skin. I was right. This scent had belonged to an Omega. She looked so small and fragile. I could feel the alpha within me demanding to claim her here and now. Can I have my bonnet back, please? She said nervously. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I said as I handed her bonnet back. For a few seconds, could feel the warmth from my hands when her hands touched. She started to place her bonnet back on her head for some reason. I lost control of myself. I leaned forward and started smelling the crook of her neck, near her sunglance. Your Highness, the girl squealed. I quickly pulled back as I tried to quickly compose myself. Her face was completely red and flustered. I should go, she said quickly as she turned and disappeared into the crowd. I don't know why. It was like I was being pulled by an invisible leash. I quickly followed her, and I followed her sweet scent through the crowd. Wait, I called out to her. She came to a hesitated stop. Forgive me of my improper behavior. I'm Prince Todoroki. Who might you be? I asked her with a bow. Yin Lin, nice to meet you, Yin answered with a small curtsy. You're from the Omega Village. I thought all of you declined. What changed your mind? I asked. I'm, your father is very convincing man, she said with a nervous chuckle. My father threatened you, didn't he? I said, blurting, as Yin gave me a shocked look, and she slowly nodded her head. He's a cruel king and father. Oh dear, did you have someone to turn to into your family? She asked me. My mother, but she eventually snapped and then was taken away when I was young. I answered simply. I'm so sorry, my mother was taken from me too. This bonnet was hers when she was a young maiden before she met my dad, she said with a small smile. What happened to your mother, if you don't mind me asking? I asked her. Omega's village were known to be raided by betas and are some sort of outlawed. One day there was a raid happening and they just took her. She never came back, she said, looking down at her feet. My heart goes out to her. She has to go through that sort of terror then, while I tucked away safely in a castle. Well, I'll stop eating up your time, Your Highness, she said with a bow. Wait, will I see you again? I asked her, placing a small kiss on her hand. Maybe, she said slyly as she slowly disappeared into the crowd. I hope so, I said to myself. Hey yo, I want to apologize for all the stuttering during the video, but I want to tell you when part 3 is coming out. So part 3 will be coming out this weekend, and after that there will be a Alpha Prince Deku ending and an Alpha Prince Shoto ending, and then we'll turn to another one. And by the way, a lot of these are one-shots, so I'm sorry, but it's the person who made these books, and please go watch them. I can't believe I said go watch them, but it's by 1234321X on Wattpad. Bye!